Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm getting my microphone ready here. All right. If you are here with me live, please let me know in the comments. If you can see me and hear me, say hi. Let me know where you're joining me from. I am Dana Lavoie. I of DanaLavoieLAC.com. I help women feel amazing during and after menopause using customized Chinese herbs supported by the best diet and lifestyle for their hormones. Hi, if you guys are here, let me know in the comments if you can see me and hear me okay, all right, while we're getting started. And I am talking about hysterectomies this week. I had all these questions come in a row about hysterectomy, like how to care for your hormones after a hysterectomy, how to recover from a hysterectomy, how to get your hormones balanced after a hysterectomy. And I actually have a brand new blog post that went live this week all about that, and it really goes into more detail on the different types of hysterectomy, what the different types of surgeries that are all called hysterectomy are, and the difference in caring for your hormones that you need to know about depending on which one of those surgeries you have. So we talk about that, and then I talk about the three main natural remedies you want to use to balance your hormones after a hysterectomy. So like diet, lifestyle, and supplements. So that's all in the blog post. But I really wanted to have the chance to spend some time and dive a little deeper into another really important aspect of caring for yourself after a hysterectomy. So, in Chinese medicine, hi everybody, say hi in the comments. Let me know who you are and where you're joining me from. I'd love to hear from you. I love to see that pop up on my screen. Let me know you can hear me okay. But I wanted to talk a little bit about surgery and Chinese medicine. So, and why there's a few reasons recovering from a hysterectomy can be difficult. So, one of the things that can happen is you can get what we call energy stagnation in your abdomen after the surgery. So, this is like oh, hi, Maria, I'm so glad you're here. So I'm glad you guys are here. So after surgery, it's possible to get energy stuck. Energy is not flowing freely in the area where the surgery was. This is from a Chinese medicine perspective. And there's a few reasons it can happen. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And then I'm going to teach you on this live video here my abdominal massage, which is an easy thing you can do at home. It's actually great for your digestion, which a lot of women could use extra support with, after menopause in general, but it's also really especially good for helping to restore the chi movement after after a surgery like a hysterectomy. So why do surgeries tend to cause energy stagnation? There are a few reasons. In Chinese medicine, you have these meridians, like these channels. They're all over your body. You can see pictures with lines drawn on them, and the energy flows through these meridians, and it's supposed to both flow freely. It goes through one, and then the end of one joins with the beginning of the next, right? So it goes like up and down and up and down, and it flows through your whole body. But what happens if one of those energy meridians runs right through, which it does, right through your belly and into your legs? And when they do a hysterectomy, they are cutting where that energy meridian flows. So any type of physical trauma can potentially interrupt the flow of energy past that area. The physical disruption itself, the swelling associated with it, right? The heat, the fluid accumulation, the bruising, all of that can cause the energy to have trouble flowing. If you think of it like water in a stream, your energy is flowing through your meridian is like water flowing in a stream. And a physical injury, like a surgery, it's like a branch falling into the water of the stream. If the water in the stream is flowing really strongly, it's like spring melt and it's like rapids, it's going to wash that branch away and keep flowing. But if the water in the stream, like say it's August and the water level is low and it's sluggish, that branch might stay there. And then what happens is it blocks the flow of some of the water starts to back up, and then other leaves and dirt and branches get caught behind the branch, and it turns into an even bigger blockage of the flow. So that's kind of what can happen. And The reason this is more likely to happen after a hysterectomy is because we're a little bit older. Like, think about it. Think about a little girl who breaks her arm when she's 10 years old. She is probably going to recover so fully. That cast comes off. She's on the jungle gym. A year later, you ask her, she can't even remember which arm she broke, because kids have very strong energy and it just flows like gangbusters. So even though a branch fell into the water was just like whoosh. As soon as it was healed, the water, the energy just completely went flowing through the meridian again. But for us, when we're having hysterectomies, we're a little bit older. And so what happens is that blockage that can happen with the surgery, sometimes our energy isn't strong enough to completely restore the flow afterwards. And that's when you'll get things like more scar tissue. And, it's like that arm that you broke when you were 60, you feel it every time it rains. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't heal as fully. That's because the energy didn't return to a normal flow. If the energy returns to a normal flow through the area where the surgery or the physical injury was, even if you have 10 pins in there, it's going to feel totally normal. That the energy restoring to a normal flow is what makes it feel really, really good. So there are things we can do to help the energy flow return to normal after a hysterectomy. And another thing I wanted to mention, besides just the physical sort of insult of the surgery itself, which causes bruising, it causes, like a physical injury to the place where the energy is flowing. Surgery itself has a few special things about it. One is operating rooms are really cold because it means you bleed less. Well, cold causes stagnation of energy. So when you're in the operating room and you're having surgery, the cold is getting inside your energetic channels where they make the incision, and that could make the energy stagnation worse. Plus, metal is cold in nature, right? Metal's very cold in nature in general. So usually they're using some kind of metal instruments. So you've got metal and you've got cold, and it's getting inside your body where it wouldn't usually go. So surgery, it can leave you with this cold lodged in your energy channel where they did the surgery, and it just makes it harder for the energy flow to return to normal through that area. So one thing that's great for this is if you can go to acupuncture. I always recommend having acupuncture right after a surgery, like as soon after a surgery as you can. And they're not going to do acupuncture near the site of the surgery. It will be somewhere else on your body far away, but it will help to restore the flow of energy through the energy channels at the surgery site. It can help with post-surgical pain. It can speed up your recovery quite a bit. It can prevent some of the bruising and discomfort that you would have had. It's wonderful. But another thing that you can do, what I wanted to talk to you about today, is abdominal massage, because that can help restore the flow of energy to normal in your abdomen. Now, when would you do this? Okay, you would not do this right after the surgery. You would not do this when the wound is still healing, when you still have stitches dissolving, when you still have like a scab that could be broken open or something like that. No, you don't do it too soon. Like, I get women who come to me 5 years after a hysterectomy. Yeah, go ahead and do this. So the soonest you would want to do this would be when your doctor releases you. So your surgeon will release you from post-surgical care. It's usually somewhere around 6 to 8 weeks after the surgery, but it depends on you and the type of surgery. So it's not right away, but starting when the surgeon releases you at a couple of months after surgery, give it a little extra time if you need to. You know what I mean? Wait till the physical wound, it's completely closed, the stitches are gone, you're not having any bleeding, like it's physically healed, right? And the doctor says, I return to totally normal activities. You can have a massage, you can do whatever you want. That would be the time when you could start doing this abdominal massage. And for everybody else, you can do this. You can just do this when you lie down in bed to go to sleep. It takes just a few minutes. It's wonderful for your digestion. So the way that you do it is just with your hands on your belly. And I'm going to show you like a series of a few strokes that have a really nice effect on the energy flow in the abdomen. And what I want you to visualize and imagine while you're doing this massage is you might not know this, but your body, there's one way of looking at your physical body is that it's mostly made up of water. It's about 80% water. That's one way to look at it. So I want you to think of your physical body as liquid, almost being like a liquid when you do this massage, because you're not going to use a really deep or hard massage stroke for this. It's going to be pretty gentle, but I want you to think of it like a gentle wave that you're running along the surface of your body with just enough pressure that creates a deeper wave through the tissues, but not because you're physically digging in there. So you're going to use your hands in a motion, like if this was my belly and this was my hand, you're going to use your hands in a motion kind of like this, right? So you're not going super hard, but you're creating like a wave. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So the first part of this is you start at the bottom. Okay, you start at the bottom, like where your hip bones are, and you're going to use your hands right in the center. And I like to use the whole palm of my hand. So I'll start at the bottom, and then I'll just kind of wave my hands up. And so imagine your body like water, and you're creating this wave. And you're going to do 3 of these right in the middle. And then you're going to go over to the side, one side. So here's your hip bone. You're starting just on the bone. So you're coming ski sloping off the bone and coming up. And this is all going towards your belly button. So you start with 3 strokes in the middle. And then you're going to do 3 strokes on one side towards your belly button. And then you're going to go 3 strokes on the other side towards your belly button. Imagining that you're on the surface, but you're creating this wave through the tissues, okay? And then you're going to go from the top and you're going to go down. Same thing. In the center and on either side. So towards your belly button from the whole sort of edge of your ribs, and then you do the other side. And it's great to do this lying down. I recommend that you do this lying down. So you can do that whole thing once, or you can do it 3 times. So you could repeat 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but slower. And you could do that 3 times. Or you could just do it once or twice. And then the next step is going to be this sort of activates the whole area, draws a lot of energy to the whole area. And then the next step is to make sure that the energy is flowing like in the right direction. So you're going to come right down the center line of your belly from right where your, like this is where my ribs end. So I'm coming right below that. And I'm going from there down to my belly button. And I'm pressing just with a couple of fingers, a little bit harder, but not super hard, just in that first level of tissue. And I'm making little zigzag strokes right down that line. There's like a big strip of fascia there where your stomach muscles connect to each other. And this really loosens. It can get very sort of tight and knotted up. So you're going to do that. I do recommend you do that 3 times. It feels so good. Okay, and then you're going to make some circles because you've got all these intestines in there and they go kind of squiggly all around, but they definitely end up going in a certain direction with your large intestine, which comes up the right side, across the top, and down the left side. So that's the direction circles we're going to create. And so you're going to start at your belly button and you're going to make like a spiral going outward. Okay, and then you can go back in. And I like to do that a couple of times. And one thing you can do from Chinese medicine is right around your belly button, you can press in and just make sure there's not any real sore spots. Just kind of, it's almost like you're almost like reach into your belly button and kind of stretch it. It's like you're like loosening up the tissue around the edges of your belly button, right? And then you do that spiral, and then I like to end with some very light pressure circles in that same direction where you're coming up on your right side, across the top, and down on your left side. So you're just stroking with a very light pressure at the end. And that is the abdominal massage. So to repeat, it's 3 strokes up from the bottom in the center, up from the bottom on one side, and up from the bottom on the other side, and then down from the top in the center, down from one side on the top, and down from one side on the other 3 times. And those are all towards your belly button. And then you can repeat that whole thing 3 times if you want. And then you're going to zigzag down the center from your ribs to your belly button. And then you're going to do the spirals out and in, and then finish with the light strokes. And it just takes a few minutes. Once you get used to it, you can do it on your bare skin with a little bit of like oil to make it slippery, or you can do it over your clothes like I did. You can do it like at night when you lie down to go to sleep. Just anytime, just take a minute. It feels so nice, and it just helps to restore the energy flow. If you think of your body on that liquid level, it can really just create waves of movement that's great for peristalsis and for releasing the tissue on the fascia level, so that, you know, scar tissue can be released. If the energy is, like I said, that energy is everything. If you can restore the energy flow through the meridians, then it's going to heal the scar tissue. It's going to heal things on a physical level much better. So like I said, in this week's blog post, there was so much information about the different types of surgeries, the difference that you're going to see in hormonal side effects after those different ones, and then also the diet, lifestyle, and supplement, like key elements. And I have links to resources for all of those in the blog post so that you can easily use all 3 of those. But I will mention that sometimes after hysterectomy, your hormones really are in a tizzy. It can be quite a shock for your system. It's like going through menopause, which usually is a gradual thing that happens over 5 years in one day. And it's like they always say, if you're on hormone replacement therapy, don't stop it cold turkey. You will always want to taper off. Well, this is like stopping cold turkey. It's a big shock to your system. It takes quite a bit to recover from it. And it's also a kind of surgery that it has some emotional repercussions as well. It's great to do some, journaling and really check in with your body afterwards. But one of the things that can help the most when you're having those really significant hormonal adjustments after a hysterectomy is, one thing is hormone replacement for sure. It's definitely something to consider. But so are herbal remedies, which are like the natural alternative to that can potentially have like a similar power, because they can be very, very targeted for pretty severe hormonal discomforts. And so if you are interested in learning more about using herbal remedies, most women in like the West who use herbal remedies, they kind of scratch the surface and they get kind of so-so results, but they can really be used on a deeper level with much more significant, long-lasting, far-reaching results. And I am teaching just this month in May. I'm teaching an hour-long masterclass on just that topic, on the things that herbalists do that take the results you can get from herbal remedies from pretty so-so to really significant. The class is completely free, but I'm only teaching it during this month. I don't usually, I just, a few times a year, I teach this class, and I happen to be teaching it right now. So if it's something that you're interested in, even a little bit, or potentially using herbs to support your hormones during and after menopause with or without a hysterectomy, I highly recommend saving a seat in that free class. It's incredibly fun. It's incredibly informative. You will never see a hot flash the same way after going through that class with me. And I mean that in a good way. And I've put a link in the little description next to this video where you can save your seat and where you can visit this week's blog post all about hysterectomy. But that free class is at danalavoielac.com/masterclass. And I show you also in that another thing that I'm really passionate about is trying to get as many women as possible to have be able to use herbs like a tool that they know how to use really, really skillfully to control how they feel in terms of their hormones. It's so effective. It's so empowering. It's so wonderful to feel like you have an expert herbalist in your back pocket whenever you need it. And so I talk about that on the class as well, how you can get to that point by working with me a little more closely, something I've been working on for years. It's so exciting. But the class itself is just over the top. It's awesome. Everyone is loving it. So save your seat. Try the abdominal massage. So for you guys watching the replay, because I know a lot of you will be, please try this massage and let me know what you think. And if you have had a hysterectomy, I would love to know. Did your doctor, did your nurse, did anyone ever recommend something like this to you for helping to recover? I'm really curious about that. So of course, check with your doctor before you do this. If you had complications or you have any special circumstances, you might have to wait longer after your surgery to start doing something like this. Check with your doctor, of course. But for most women, as long as you wait till you're released from post-surgical care, this is quite safe and it's just wonderful. So I'd love to know what you guys think. So again, I'm Dana Lavoie and I am an acupuncturist and herbalist. I help women feel amazing during and after menopause using customized Chinese herbs supported by the best diet and lifestyle for their hormones. And so thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, just send me a message, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you on that masterclass, and we will hang out. It's really been fun for me having more time at home, and I have a lot of exciting stuff lined up to share with you online during this whole next month because of that. So get ready, and I'll see you soon. Bye.